Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk through How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams, published in 2013. In the introduction, the author discusses his own path to success and offers insights on how to achieve success in different areas of life. He acknowledges that his success may not be solely attributed to talent, luck, or hard work, but rather a combination of managing opportunities and allowing luck to come his way. Adams emphasizes that his book is not an advice book and that he is not an expert in anything. He shares that his goal is to simplify complex topics and provide readers with a starting point for their own journey towards success. The author also introduces the concept of using consistency as a filter for truth and highlights the importance of having smart friends to seek advice from. The author discusses his struggles with losing the ability to speak due to a neurological condition. He shares his experience of feeling lonely and disconnected from others and the social challenges that come with not being able to produce intelligible sentences. Despite his voice problems, he decides to go ahead with a speaking event, using it as an opportunity to test his ability to speak in front of a large audience. The author reflects on the concept of passion and how it can be misleading when it comes to achieving success. He believes that success is more influenced by factors such as determination, hard work, and talent, rather than just passion alone. The author concludes by emphasizing the value of failure and the lessons it can teach us. Failure is where success hides, and that everything one wants in life can be found in the failures one experiences. Success takes effort, and being lazy doesn't get one anywhere. Adams also mentions that reading the book itself can provide a boost of optimism. The author then proceeds to provide examples of their own failures, including failed inventions, unsuccessful job interviews, and businesses that didn't succeed. They highlight the lessons they learned from each failure and how those experiences ultimately contributed to their success in the long run. They discuss their experience investing in Webvan, a grocery delivery company, and how it taught them that useful information rarely comes from a company's management. They also mention their brief foray into professional investing, where they had little success with Wells Fargo. The author then goes on to describe their failed business ideas, including a manila folder with a pocket for floppy disks, a calendar app with embedded ads, and a text entry method for phones. They also discuss their unsuccessful attempt at launching a food product called the Dilbert and their failed ventures into the restaurant industry. Finally, they share their favorite failure, a disastrous job interview in upstate New York that led them to move to California. The author recounts his experiences and lessons learned from his journey to California. He shares how he traded his car for a one-way ticket, wore a suit on the flight to appear professional, and ended up sitting next to a businessman who gave him career advice. The businessman emphasized the importance of always looking for better job opportunities rather than being complacent. This concept of having a system rather than a specific goal stuck with the author. He explains that goals often lead to continuous feelings of failure, while systems allow for a more consistent sense of progress and achievement. Adams provides examples of successful individuals who implemented systems, such as Mark Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett, and emphasizes the power of systems in various aspects of life, including dieting, exercise, and business. The narrator shares their experience of navigating the college application process, relying on limited guidance from their school and a friend named Peter. They eventually choose to attend Hartwick College with the help of scholarships and their own savings. However, their college experience is not without challenges. They struggle academically and face the threat of losing their scholarship due to poor grades and a severe case of mononucleosis. Despite these setbacks, they persevere and continue their studies. Along the way, they realize that a career in law is not the right fit for them, and instead they aspire to create and run their own company. They start working in the banking industry, but struggle with their job performance. However, through persistence and some stroke of luck, they manage to progress and eventually move on to a different company. Despite looking great on paper and receiving promotions, the author finds that success is often arbitrary, with external factors influencing their career. However, he also describes their own unconventional approach to work, such as declaring their workplace a safety hazard due to secondhand smoke and prioritizing their own needs. He argues that selfishness, in the sense of taking care of oneself, is necessary for long-term success and personal well-being. He also emphasizes the importance of energy management in achieving multiple goals, focusing on maintaining high levels of energy to accomplish various desires and aspirations. He highlights the importance of maximizing personal energy through practices such as eating right, exercising, minimizing stress, and getting enough sleep. By doing so, the quality of work improves, relationships are enhanced, and overall satisfaction in life increases. The author draws examples from different areas, such as dog training and their own experiences as a cartoonist, to illustrate the impact of personal energy on interactions with others and productivity. He also explains the concept of matching mental state to tasks and highlight the difference between simplifiers and optimizers. The author then delves into the concept of simplification versus optimization. In situations involving communication with others, simplification is almost always the better approach. However, in tasks that can be done individually or with a like-minded partner, optimizing may be more suitable if most variables can be controlled. The author also emphasizes the importance of simplicity in systems, as people are more likely to follow simple systems compared to complicated ones. The benefits of simplicity in various aspects of life, such as workspaces, knowledge acquisition, and interpersonal behavior, are also highlighted. Personal energy should be maximized by prioritizing health, economics, relationships, and gradually expanding outward to larger communities. One way to keep priorities on track is to assess how each option will impact personal energy levels. The right choices, even if challenging, often energize individuals. On the other hand, choices that drain energy and do not align with higher priorities should be questioned. Attitude can be managed by controlling thoughts, body, and environment. Thinking about positive experiences and imagining future success can elevate mood and energy. Engaging in activities that have the potential to change the world or pursuing hobbies and sports can also boost energy. Additionally, the power of a smile and surrounding oneself with positive people contribute to a positive attitude. Success in one area can spill over into other aspects of life, further increasing personal energy levels. Adams reflects on the flawed assumptions and perceptions that humans have about reality, drawing parallels between his dog's flawed belief in her psychic powers and humans' flawed ideas about the world. While our misconceptions about reality can sometimes be helpful, they can also limit our understanding. He encourages readers to be open to modifying their perceptions and to adopt practical illusions that work for them. He shares his own experiences of imagining a successful future and how it motivates him to achieve his goals. The author shares his experience with dystonia and how it affected his ability to draw. He found that drawing on a computer prevented the dystonia from triggering and allowed him to be a more efficient cartoonist. He also talks about his career as a speaker and how a smart friend helped him navigate the speaking circuit by suggesting a high price for his services. The author then shares his struggle with losing his voice and his search for a diagnosis, which eventually leads him to discover the name of his condition and find an expert who confirms the diagnosis. He explores different treatments for his condition, including Botox injections, but ultimately decides to stop them in order to find a lasting solution. The author emphasizes the importance of recognizing one's talents and knowing when to quit or switch paths in order to achieve success. He bases Tessera's perspective on personal experiences with business ideas, observing others' struggles, and examples such as the history of cell phones and early versions of shows like The Simpsons and Dilbert. Initial demand for a product or idea can be a better indicator of eventual success than its quality. He emphasized the importance of the X factor, or the ability for a product to generate enthusiasm and excitement from a subset of the public. The book also discusses the significance of practice in choosing a life strategy that aligns with one's natural inclinations. Acquiring different skills can increase one's odds of success more than solely excelling in one area. While some skills may be more valuable than others, thinking of each skill as increasing your chances of success can guide your actions effectively. The author uses the example of a resume, where removing unnecessary words can improve its effectiveness, highlighting the power of simplicity. He then shares their own example of leveraging multiple mediocre skills to achieve success. They emphasize that quantity of skills often trumps quality, and that combining different skills can create a powerful force in the market. Additionally, the author encourages continuous learning and staying informed through reading the news, as it broadens knowledge and enhances mental efficiency. Adams's book acknowledges that life is often unpredictable, and that we may have blind spots when it comes to understanding the odds. The author shares a personal example of how he improved his tennis game by recognizing a pattern of low percentage shots. The main idea is that viewing the world as math rather than magic can help us increase our chances of success. The author suggests becoming good, but not necessarily amazing, at a range of skills that are useful in various contexts. The skills listed include public speaking, psychology, business writing, accounting, design, conversation, overcoming shyness, a second language, golf, proper grammar, persuasion, technology, and proper voice technique. The author then elaborates on the value of public speaking in psychology, emphasizing the transformative power of praise and the importance of understanding human behavior in business and social interactions. He uses examples from different fields, such as the restaurant business, TV shows, and car buying, to illustrate the irrationality of human behavior. The author also shares their experience with studying hypnosis and how it changed their perspective on reasoning and decision-making. People are not always driven by reason, and that recognizing this can be beneficial in various aspects of life, including business and personal relationships. The author encourages readers to acquire a working knowledge of psychology in order to navigate the complexities of human behavior. There are 3 skills that the author deems important for success: business writing, accounting, and design. The author expresses surprise at the effectiveness of a business writing class they took during their corporate career, which taught them the importance of getting to the point and leaving out unnecessary words. They go on to emphasize the significance of understanding basic accounting principles, as it is part of the vocabulary of business and provides a necessary foundation for economic and business knowledge. The author also highlights the importance of design, explaining that it is rules-based and can be learned by anyone with a working understanding of design principles. The author also discusses the importance of conversation skills, emphasizing the value of asking questions and listening to make others feel good and create connections. They also mention the importance of storytelling and provide tips on how to tell a good story. Foreshadowing is the act of providing clues about the future direction of a story. Characters are important in any story, so it's crucial to give them traits that are relevant to the narrative. Relatability is key when choosing story topics, as people are most interested in hearing about themselves. A good story also requires a twist or unexpected event. It's important to avoid discussing boring or negative topics, such as food, television show plots, dreams, and medical stories. Overcoming shyness can be achieved by acting confident, showing interest in others, and putting oneself in uncomfortable situations. Learning a second language can provide advantages in the job market, and proper grammar is essential for making a good impression. Adams's book discusses the difference between theories and hypotheses in a scientific context. It explains that a theory is a well-tested scientific explanation that is almost as good as a fact, while a hypothesis is an untested and unproven explanation. The author also acknowledges their misuse of the word theory and emphasizes the importance of using correct grammar. The writer then transitions into discussing the topic of persuasion and its relevance in various aspects of life. Learning the art of persuasion can be valuable and recommends reading books on the subject. He provides examples of persuasive words and phrases, such as using because to present a reason, starting questions with "would you mind?" and expressing disinterest to stop someone from persuading. The writer goes on to explore the power of decisiveness, energy, and a calculated form of insanity in persuasion, addresses the question of whether persuasion is the same as manipulation, and suggests that viewing persuasion as manipulating can hinder one's persuasive abilities. Sometimes manipulating others for a good result is necessary, such as manipulating coworkers to improve work performance. Adam also emphasizes the importance of mastering technology to some extent, as it is now a crucial part of almost every profession. He goes on to explain the significance of having proper voice technique, as it can convey confidence and authority. He suggests various tips for improving voice quality, such as breathing properly and practicing posture. Adams then delves into the concept of pattern recognition, highlighting various patterns observed in different scenarios. Patterns of behavior exhibited by successful people are explored, including lack of fear of embarrassment, education, exercise, and treating success as a learnable skill. Humor is not just a form of entertainment, but it also has numerous benefits. People who possess a good sense of humor are perceived as more attractive, and humor can compensate for other shortcomings. Humor raises energy levels, making individuals more willing to exercise and boosting overall energy. It also helps to put life in perspective and allows individuals to laugh at their problems. Humor touches every aspect of life that requires concentration and willpower. Tips for incorporating humor into everyday life include steering conversations towards fun topics, being the one who encourages laughter, and trying to be funny, even if it doesn't always work. It is important to tailor humor to your audience and to avoid certain traps such as over-complaining, overdoing self-deprecation, mocking others, and using puns and wordplay. Additionally, humor can make individuals more creative. Affirmations, the practice of repeating what you want to achieve, can help improve focus and bring positive outcomes. The author has personally experienced successful affirmations in the past, such as having luck with stock picks and achieving a seemingly unlikely romantic connection. He shares a personal affirmation that he calculated the odds for and beat, as well as an affirmation he used to win a bet with a coworker. The author then goes on to discuss how his affirmations played a role in his successful career as a cartoonist, particularly with his famous comic strip Dilbert, emphasizing the role of luck in his success, but also acknowledging that he put himself in a position for luck to find him. The author talks about the importance of timing and how various lucky events and coincidences played a part in the success of Dilbert. The author then shares his journey of trying various treatments and therapies, such as acupuncture, voice therapy, and diet changes, to improve his voice condition, but none of them worked. He then develops a two-part system to find a pattern in his worst voice days and searches the internet for any mention of his condition in a medical context. Despite the discouraging prognosis of his condition, he remains determined to find a cure. The author reflects on his experience of seeking medical expertise and recognizes that experts are often wrong, especially in complex or new situations. He also ponders on the influence of association with others, citing examples of people he worked with who became published authors, which suggests that the people we associate with can influence our own behavior and success. Happiness is influenced by various factors, including control over one's schedule and the ability to do what one wants when one wants. Timing is seen as key, as the order and timing of experiences can impact happiness more than the intrinsic value of those experiences. Happiness is not solely affected by external circumstances, but can be manipulated through body chemistry. Taking care of one's body through lifestyle choices such as exercise, diet, and sleep is emphasized as essential for happiness. The importance of imagination and envisioning a brighter future is also discussed. Ultimately, the formula for happiness is summarized as taking care of one's body and fostering a sense of control and purpose in life. The chapter discusses the author's approach to diet and how he has successfully trained himself to change his food preferences. He emphasizes that his diet plan is not a one-size-fits-all solution and should not be taken as advice. The author believes that by changing what you want to eat and reprogramming your food preferences, you can eat as much as you want, of anything you want, whenever you want, and still maintain a healthy weight. He shares his personal experiences with changing his cravings, such as reversing his craving for ice cream and developing a craving for broccoli. He suggests viewing your body as a programmable robot and recognizing the connection between food and mood. He recommends experimenting with different food choices and paying attention to how they make you feel to find what works best for you. The author discusses his personal doubts about the health benefits of cheese and the importance of looking at the evolving scientific research. He proposes a rational template for diet choices, encouraging readers to shift their perspective from a battle between good and bad foods to one that focuses on reprogramming food preferences. The author emphasizes the limited supply of willpower and suggests a diet system that doesn't rely on it. He explains the connection between food and exercise, stating that food is the fuel that makes exercise possible. He suggests breaking the addiction to simple carbs by giving oneself permission to eat as much as they want of anything that isn't a simple carb, which can lead to increased energy and reduced cravings. Additionally, he highlights the difficulty of knowing what is truly healthy and provides tips for making healthy eating more convenient. The author suggests that the daily recommended intake levels of vitamins and minerals might not be credible enough, and that nutrition science is incomplete. He emphasizes the importance of personal observation and pattern recognition in finding the right diet. The author shares his own diet template, which includes foods like bananas, protein bars, broccoli, fish, and berries. He also discusses the role of convenience and laziness in making healthy choices, and offers tips for social eating, like adding flavor to healthy foods using various condiments and seasonings. Also, the author briefly discusses their experience as a vegetarian and the health benefits associated with a vegetarian diet. He shares his reasons for eating a vegetarian diet, citing digestive issues and possible health benefits. He acknowledges that moderate meat consumption can be a reasonable choice if someone is generally fit and eats plenty of fruits and vegetables. He also addresses the common concern about vegetarians getting enough protein, stating that most adults in the United States already get enough protein, and that vegetarians don't need to work too hard to meet the minimum requirements. The author shares their experience of the inconvenience of being a vegetarian, but states that it becomes easier over time and that there are always workarounds. He then transitions to discussing the benefits of coffee, including increased alertness, happiness, productivity, and certain health advantages, mentioning that coffee can also make a person more likely to exercise and is associated with decreased risks of stroke, Parkinson's disease, dementia, abnormal heart rhythms, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. The author suggests that coffee can help manage energy levels and improve mental performance. He also acknowledges some downsides of coffee, but overall, highly recommend it. He then introduces the pleasure unit hypothesis, explaining that celebrities might have an easier time maintaining their weight because they have other areas of their lives that make them happy, thus caring less about the taste of their food. The author discusses the importance of finding a fitness routine that works specifically for an individual's brain and body without relying on willpower. He highlights the simplicity of being physically active every day, in any way, as a starting point for fitness. Any physical exertion counts, and that the key is to be active every day. The book also addresses the complexity of the fitness industry, with its numerous conflicting guidelines and recommendations. The author suggests practical ways to schedule exercise in a busy life, particularly in a marriage or relationship, such as joining organized teams or exercising at the same time every day. He stresses the significance of forming habits and associations between exercise and rewards. Also, the writer mentions overcoming mental barriers to exercise, such as feeling tired or lacking motivation, and offers a strategy to overcome these obstacles by manipulating cues and developing a mindset of permission and flexibility. Adams discusses the importance of hair care in influencing how others perceive us. Speaking from a heterosexual man's perspective, he believes that men prefer women to be healthy over having movie star hair. He notes that a healthy appearance signals good reproductive odds and can positively impact employability. The author encourages women to prioritize their health and fitness over their hair, suggesting that a healthy body is more attractive in the long term. The author then transitions to his personal experience with losing his voice and his search for a cure. After exploring various options, he undergoes a surgical procedure that rewires the nerves in his neck to restore his voice. Despite the recovery being challenging, the author remains optimistic. After undergoing vocal cord surgery, the author experiences a period of silence as his brain and vocal cords struggle to communicate. In 3.5 months, he expects his nerves to reconnect and allow him to speak again. When the day comes, he speaks, though his voice is weak and inconsistent. Over time, with voice training and practice, his voice steadily improves. While he may never speak perfectly, he gains a more functional voice than before. The author discusses affirmations, stating that while they may not have scientific backing, they have had a positive impact on his life and mindset. He concludes by summarizing his model for success, which involves focusing on energy through diet and exercise, and embracing strategies with better odds for success. Adam also emphasizes the importance of staying in the game and allowing luck to find you. He advises against pursuing jobs that do not lead to personal growth and encourages prioritizing happiness and being good to others. Good health, resources, and a flexible schedule contribute to happiness, so it is crucial to focus on these aspects. The author recommends acquiring key skills such as public speaking, business writing, persuasion, technology understanding, social skills, and accounting. Simplification, small talk, and avoiding negative behavior are also suggested. By controlling inputs and following patterns, one can determine outcomes with some luck. Goals should be replaced with systems, and failure should be embraced as a stepping stone to success. Thank you so much for watching this video. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'll see you in the next video.